name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So it is my monthly favorites. I cannot believe it is already March. I know we say this every time, but holy crap, it's insane. It's already like 3 months into the year. I have a lot to get through today, a lot of really exciting things, including a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's get straight into the movies, because I know a lot of you guys are really into these videos because you like to know what I watch during the month. So get your notepads out and let's start at the start. I watched Thelma, which I did a Come With Me. I can't believe that was February. It feels like so long ago, which is a Norwegian horror thriller film. I did a whole Come With Me, so definitely check out that. As I say in the review, I would recommend it to some of you guys if it seems like the appropriate themes for the horror movies you like. Then I watched Lady Bird, which I was excited to see because obviously hype. I was really excited to see this one as well because I went and saw it with my mum, and it was a really good mother-daughter kind of movie. I'm sure you guys have heard of Lady Bird by now, but if you haven't, it is a coming-of-age story, just like a slice of life, just a girl going through the last kind of stages of high school and deciding what university she wants to go to, and she's quite quirky turkey, I'm so sorry, and it just kind of goes through those motions, but it's really funny and it's the perfect awkward humor, which I really love. I then watched the Cloverfield Paradox, and I actually had someone on my last favorite say, when are you ever going to talk about the Cloverfield Paradox? It wasn't out when I last did my favorites video, yo. My mirror is in shot. But anyway, I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually quite cool. I like a little bit of sci-fi, but not too much. It seemed like a long episode of Black Mirror in a way. I really like how the Cloverfield stories are all separate. It's kind of like The Purge in a way, and I really appreciated it. I know it could have been much better, but I don't think it was a bad movie at all, especially one that you can watch for free. I then watched The Ritual, which I really love that movie. If you haven't seen that on Netflix, you really need to check it out. I do have a full review on that. I then watched Skins, which is a Spanish horror movie, which I've just done a review for as well. Can you see a theme going on here? That film is really out there, and I really recommend it to anyone who likes a little bit of art house with horror themes. I then watched the documentary-ish, it's kind of like a documentary, it's called Wisconsin Death Trip, and it's based on photographs of this place in Wisconsin throughout the ages. It's kind of like a cursed town, but it is based on a book that was just of photographs. It was interesting. I gave it 2.5. It was good for the information, but it wasn't really well put together. But if you live in Wisconsin or you're interested, I would recommend it. I then finally watched The Babysitter. I had not watched this since it came out in, I think it was September or August. I really enjoyed it. I thought Bella Thorne was going to be in more of it, so I was a little bit let down by that. But I love the main chick, what's her name, Samantha Weaving, and she was also in Mayhem. I think she's really cool, and I think that was a lot better than Better Watch Out. I then watched Goddess of Love. I think I watched this on Stan, which is like a Australian streaming service, kind of like Netflix. And oh my God, it was not a great movie, but it was so satisfying. You know why? It was a stalker film. This is about a stripper called Venus, and she kind of falls for this guy, and she thinks that they're like together, but they're not really, and then she's a bit psycho. It was interesting, but it wasn't a good film at all. So if you're into something interesting for background noise, I would probably recommend it. I then finally watched Happy Death Day. I felt like this was a month of definitely catching up and watching stuff. Thank you to Tom, one of my patrons, who gave me his link code for this. I really appreciate that because Dean and I really wanted to see this, and I did watch it with Dean. We both really enjoyed it. I thought the main girl was really good. The storyline was a little bit predictable and meh, but the acting really, I don't know, gave it an edge, and I think it was quite an enjoyable film. I then watched Ghost Watch Behind the Curtains, which is a documentary on Ghostwatch. I did refer to this last month. I'm gonna have to tell you guys just to stay tuned because I'm gonna have a huge video that will be all about Ghostwatch. I then watched the Banshee Chapter, which was recommended to me by one of you guys. Not a huge fan, found it interesting. It's found footage-ish. I have a review coming on that. I then watched Devil's Acid, which is a film that Dean got for me. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this one. It is a low-budget horror movie, which is about a father telling his son this fucked up story about this bunch of people who go out to this abandoned prison, I think it is, and they take this acid. and there's a killer. It is really dumb, but also a little bit entertaining because it doesn't take itself seriously at all. I then watched Deep Dark, which was another film that Dean got for me. This film was really messed up, and I really like the idea behind it, but it just didn't sell it to me well. It is about a guy who is a struggling artist. His art sucks, really, to be honest. And so he makes this pact almost with the devil, but it's not the devil. It's a wall inside an apartment. There's a hole in the wall and a girl's voice comes out, and she starts like feeding the art to him, but then in return she like gets really attached to him, and like he's got to like fuck the wall and stuff. Me trying to explain this movie is so weird and so outrageous. You have to check it out for yourself. It's definitely a film that had a really good idea, but the production value and just the way it was put together just doesn't sell it completely. Could have been really terrifying if it was done a little bit more sinister and a little bit more serious. I then watched 80s slasher movie Pieces. I watched this with my patrons. Hey patrons, if you're watching. Wowza. That is a long movie. It's actually quite a short movie, but they really packed it out. It is a movie that is about a university and girls are getting chopped up into pieces. The kills are very spaced out, and in between are long conversational scenes that don't really have to happen. There's also this kung fu guy that comes out of fucking nowhere. It is a really random 80s movie, and I thought it was gonna be better than it was. Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend it to you guys. I then finally watched Thinner. I've never seen this film before. It's based on a Stephen King novel. I thought it was quite interesting. I felt like aspects of Drive Me to Hell. It's about a guy who kind of makes fun of this traveling family, gypsies, and then they put a curse on him and he is overweight. So many triggers in this. Then he starts shrinking until he becomes nothing. And I think it was really cool, the idea of him shrinking and people not realizing that that means he's going to like disappear and become nothing. And I think that was a really cool, interesting idea. Very Stephen King. The characters in it are just so on point with his brand and everything about him. I felt a little bit lost in the middle with it because it's such a simple story and they try to make it so complicated, but I guess that's what happens when a movie adapts from a book. Overall, I'd probably recommend it just because it is such an interesting idea in horror, and I love Stephen King. But if you have read the book, I haven't read the book, so I'd love to hear what you think about the book down below. The last movie I watched for the month is a movie I have already reviewed, which is Veronica. This is a Spanish film on Netflix. There's two Spanish films called Veronica at the moment. It is the one that has the teenage girl in it. This film has got so much attention lately and I enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was amazing, but I would recommend it to all you guys. I feel like it's worth seeing because maybe you'll be one of those people who really enjoy it, and I don't think you should miss out. If nothing else, it is an okay movie. So overall, I would recommend to you guys Happy Death Day, The Babysitter, Skins, The Ritual, Cloverfield. I would recommend those ones to you guys in particular, and then also Veronica. Not so much for me, but you guys might love it. On to TV shows. I watched 2 TV shows in February from start to end. One was Mindhunter, which was amazing. This TV show is available on Netflix. It's about 2 guys who work for the FBI, and they've decided to go along and kind of secretly have this project, kind of secret, where they talk to serial killers, ex-serial killers, you know what I mean, serial killers, to try and learn psychology behind crimes, and all of the people that they talk to are based on real serial killers. So it's quite interesting. It's before psychology really played a huge part in crime, so it's interesting to see how that comes about. But one problem I do have with the series, and this isn't really a spoiler, I don't think, is it kind of like cues like this guy throughout it, but then you never really get to that point. It's almost like it's the whole season is teasing season 2, and I don't think that's a spoiler because I think it is something to keep in mind while you're watching it. But I really loved it, and I totally would recommend it to all you guys if you're looking for something drama, crimey, with a serial killer aspect to watch on Netflix. Then I watched The Unabomber, which is another series on Netflix. This is about the Unabomber in America, and how they found him. The guy who finds him, it's like you see him find him at the start, and then it kind of goes back and it's like two storylines meeting together in like to the present, if that makes sense. It also has Mark Duplass in it from Creep, who I'm obsessed with, so I was very excited to see him in there, even though he's playing like a minor role. But I did think it was quite an interesting show. It definitely was up and down at some points, and I didn't find the main character very likable at all, but I would recommend it. Surprisingly, it stuck with me because it is a little bit cheesy with the main guy. His dialogue's all off, and I just really didn't like him. But the show overall is really interesting, and I like these kind of shows that are based on true crime. You get to learn a little bit while you're like getting entertained. I want to do a quick shout out on YouTubers that I've liked this month. Obviously, I love all my horror fam, but I really wanted to give a good shout out to Will I Like It Reviews. He did an interview with me a couple weeks ago. I'll link it down below, and I was just floored with him. Like, I've never really spoken to him. I've seen him on Twitter and we've kind of retweeted each other's stuff. I think that he is one of the most genuine, nice, easy people to talk to. I just wanted to give a shout out to him because I feel like a lot of more people should be subscribed to him. So just go check out his channel and tell him that I sent you. And I'll leave the link down below. He's a really good listener, and you don't find that often. So huge shout out to CP for first off having me on his channel, but second, you won me as a fan for life. As for horror item of the month, I'm not sure if you guys saw my video. I did a video with Chantal Handley, who is an amazing horror pastel artist. She lives here in Perth, and I was able to have her around to my house, and we talked about her personal ghost stories, which were amazing, by the way. Check them out because my jaw was dropped, and her inspiration in art and like how she got into horror, and then also the horror community. She was great. It was really interesting and really nice to connect with someone like one-on-one. After I did the interview, she sent me something, and it was the nicest thing. She sent me an Elvira print, and isn't that the most, I'm trying to get the glare off, isn't that the most beautiful thing? It was so sweet. So thank you, Chantal, and I'll link her page down below as well. But definitely check out that video if you want to know a little bit more about her, if you haven't heard of her at all, which is crazy. But if you like horror stuff, like, is that not the most beautiful? Like, she drew that with pastels. Like, that is insane. Okay, and one last thing I have to give to you guys. I have a little giveaway, and this is for the monthly mission. We have The Apparition, Annabelle. We also have It Comes at Night. So I have these 3 sealed DVDs. Something to keep in mind is that they all are in PAL Region 4. So make sure you either have a Region 3 DVD player, or you're in Australia, or wherever Region 4 is. So I'm gonna do a giveaway, but I'm not gonna do it here. My mission, I'm tricky. I'm trying to use my Instagram more, and I'm doing Instagram stories. Snapchat is dead, we know this. So I really want to kind of update you guys more of like what's going on day to day. I try and do a Snapchat story every day, and I'd really like to see yours and interact more with you guys on Instagram, because I've been hanging out there a lot. So to win one of these, guys, you have to follow me on Instagram. Just pop over to Instagram, Spooky Astronauts, and follow me, and then I'll have a post up, and you guys just have to tag a friend on there. You'll see the instructions on the post, and then I'll choose someone to win them all. And just keep an eye on your inboxes, because that's where I'll be sending you the message if you've won. Easy. Easy? Is that easy? I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so excited. I have so many cool things in the works coming up that I can't wait to talk to you guys about. I'm sure you guys have kind of got the hint that me and Nightmare Maven might be doing stuff together. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. We also did a live on Instagram recently, me and Nightmare Maven, Vicky. So just another reason to join me on Instagram. Anyway, this whole thing's been a promo, but I hope that that was okay. At least I gave you something free for it. For everyone who's new here, thank you so much for being here. And for everyone who's stuck around and supported me, I love you so, so much. I'll talk to you guys all very, very soon. Stay spooky. Bye.